Hi, this is Farhan.
Hi, this is Ritesh Sidhwani and you're watching Bollywood Hungama.
Enjoy.
Well, we have with us the team of Fukrey Returns, writer-director Mrigdeep and producers Ritesh Sidhwani and Farhan Akhtar. Pleasure having you guys
Thank you for
back on this interview for Fukrey Returns. All right, and
good to see you too.
all right, so I've just seen the promo, the second promo that I think you guys are launching. It looks really cool.
All right.
That portion when Richard Chadda says that you've seen 3 Idiots, उससे ज़्यादा तुम्हें कुछ देखने की ज़रूरत नहीं. I think that was really fun. How was your experience of just getting back to this film, which has been appreciated by people? People still remember the characters as well.
Yeah. See, that's what I mean. When Fukrey 1 got like all that love and response from the people.
Right.
So I think it was somewhere, though we started working on a couple of other scripts and other ideas, but it was always, I think, in the back of the mind that we have to come back with a sequel to this film.
Right.
Because it's like one of those very loved films and the characters have been loved a lot. So so that's the little idea was brewing, and we decided not to make like just another sequel. So what happens here, what you've probably realized from the trailer you've seen, that it's a story that moves forward.
Right.
So where it ends in the first part, it picks up from there. So I think that's how it all started, and then the usual process of just cracking the story, plot ideas,
Right.
getting bigger and better stuff since it's 2. So so yeah, so it's always double the, like everything has to be double the
Absolutely.
stakes, double the fun. So
Right.
so it took us double the time to write it.
No, it's fine. 4 years is
Yeah.
fine. Like people take more. He still hasn't written Dil Chahta Hai Returns.
Yeah.
Okay.
17 years.
Anji?
17 years.
17 years, yeah. Okay, and the film, I think, has created, when you see the promos now, you realize that those characters, they're still remembered, and some of the actors, they've made their entry into Bollywood. I think Varun still many ways remembered because of that chucha factor. I think when you look at Richa Chadda, I think she's looking outstanding as Bollywood Hungama. So, do you feel good about the fact that when characters they tend to live on, because you've experienced that in the past as well?
I mean, the success of a film at the box office is one thing. But the fact that the memorable quality of a film, usually, I mean, either it's the music of the film,
Right.
or then the characters. And the thing with characters is either you have to be able to identify with the character, or then you have to really enjoy the character. Like, so usually our heroes in the conventional sense work because people identify with them. कि अगर मैं वहाँ होता तो मैं भी शायद ये करता. And the reason villains work is because you enjoy the villain. So I feel with this you have characters who you can empathize with, you can identify with, because they're just like really young boys who want a better life for themselves. Which resonates with a lot of people in this country, and at the same time they're exceedingly enjoyable. As is Bholi Panjaban's character. So it's a nice combination of the two, and I think that's what makes the characters of this film particularly memorable for people.
Okay, and now as a producer, how important is Fukrey Returns? Because you guys have had a race which has done well. Maybe it could have done far more, because the film, I think, it's becoming bigger and bigger as the days are progressing. It's been an year now, but maybe on box office it could have done far more if maybe the release and all those things that we've experienced in the past. And at the same time, Bar Dekho, you had like Rock On 2 met with the entire demonetization wave that was hit it as well. How important is Fukrey Returns as producers for you in terms of box office?
I mean, it's as important as any film. I think box office, clearly, when you look at a film at a theatrical release, there are so many platforms that movies release on, but when you go to the first window, which is its theatrical, I think it's important for us to know that a larger box office means a larger number of people.
Sure.
If you say that 1 million people or 10 million people or 100 million people, whatever it is, it equates to that many people who have gone and watched the film. If you look at the value, and you break it down by the average ticket price. So of course it's important. Every film you want people. You make a film because it's not that you want to watch it with your family at home. You make it because you want in a larger audience. You want people to identify that. But we also know what our like you're looking at Fukrey, what kind of, every film can't just be that, oh, I need it to be a 400 crore film or a 300 crore film. I don't think we look at it like that. For us, I think the fact that people have asked us, literally, that about these characters which they've loved, a lot of people know now because of social media, like every time Fukrey used to play on TV, if I wasn't aware that it's coming on TV, as often as when people write on your timeline, say, when are you making a part 2? Boli ke saath aage kya hoga? So there were many stuff, and that's how it started off. Like why are we thinking people have invested in it and they want to see more of these? It makes sense to try, and that's when he went into the writing room and figure out with his team to how to obviously make that experience better, larger, and still satisfy that hunger which they have to see their characters grow more. So I think it's important for us to, hopefully, we've enjoyed this. We've liked the script. I saw the film a few months ago and I've been seeing it, and I think it's turned out really well.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's really important because Mrig has committed to doing Fukrey 3, 4 and 5 also. उसकी वजह से Fukrey Returns का
जब तक वो F नाम की franchise Fast and Furious नहीं रुकेगी तब तक हम
You also have Ali Fazal, like who's I think come up into like this entire Hollywood phenomenon. Not phenomenon, but he's definitely making big inroads. Maybe he's not celebrated that much the way he should be. When you have actors, I think he's a very fine actor. Maybe he still hasn't been, the potential hasn't been tapped entirely. But when you have someone like him just coming into the picture as well, how do you just, and it's like an ensemble cast.
Right.
How do you just tackle someone's potential? Because he's known to, I think, internalize a lot. He tends to just erupt. He can erupt anytime and that just surprise you completely.
See what the thing is, as you said that we've, of course, even I am at fault of not utilizing because his character is such. Zafar is the Zafar Bhai amongst the four of them. Right. So he's playing this very subtle, subdued.
He's the calmer guy.
He's the calmer guy. Right. So he's basically what we've always figured out, that these guys are all about fun and all, but the soul kind of lies with him. Just to also have that big brother kind of like an eye on the boys, because these boys, if let loose, they'll just do more stuff than what they're doing. So he's like a fabulous actor, and in fact all of them. So even Pandit Ji, Pankaj Tripathi, who's right now doing very well.
Very well, yeah. This
so
really
see, I mean, for us it was a natural choice. We never like it was never कि वो Hollywood कर रहे नहीं कर रहे. Because part 1 में all these guys were there 4 years back. They had to be there in this one. So.
Sure.
But we all stayed true to their characters, because if you suddenly take them out of the zone of what they were, it will make it more unbelievable. So, of course, Ali doing great is amazing for him. On the level, Varun has done a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
But I think if you make him out of Chucha and bring him into them, that's not what that's not what the film is. So I think whatever it is, I think the good thing about it is that however big he has or he's done whatever with his footprint into the Hollywood market, but still here he's Zafar. He's playing that character perfectly well, like the way it's required and written by the writers.
I mean, see, that's the job also of an actor. The fact is that, I mean, just to answer the initial part of your question, I'm really happy. I was in London recently, and I think a couple of people who are from media there, who watch films, comment on films. Right. A lot of them had seen Victoria and Abdul, and they said very, very good things about him to me because they know that we worked together, and I was really happy to hear it. And I messaged him and I even told him, that people are praising your work and it feels really nice. So I do wish him well. I hope he gets more and more things to do.
Sure.
He has a lot to offer. And I think, of course, and then of course, as Mrig and Ritesh are saying, in this film, this is the part he's playing.
Sure.
And I think that it's been very, I guess, good of him because he also understands as an actor that it's not about me, the film. It's about something that's more of an experience, and I am an integral part of it. I'm the voice of reason for the rest of these characters.
Absolutely.
And he's approached it and played it that way. So I mean, it's not only about excelling and showcasing what you can when you get that opportunity. It's also having the kind of emotional intelligence to say that, okay, cool, this is something I'd like to be a part of for reasons beyond myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's nice.
Even Varun, I think almost every other film people expect him to just redo the entire Chucha part of it, which I think he has been slightly handicapped with in quite a few of the movies. Now, as producer, a very important factor that I think I'm sure that all of you guys must be discussing internally these days is that your film is releasing on 15th December, 22nd is Tiger Zinda is coming up, and this entire screens, the paucity of screens that we have. I've spoken to Ajay Devgan recently. He said that he has started taking up theatres in Uttar Pradesh, and he feels that a lot of theatres they've not been utilised properly, and there should be like far more screens. I've spoken to Amir Khan. Amir feels that, say, in China they have 45,000 screens. In India, say for Hindi films we have around 5,000 screens, which is like very, very less. So in terms of the entire distribution network the way we have, it just hampers several movies like really big time. In terms of, because if you have like a wider network of screens,
it hampers all films. I don't think it hampers some films. It hampers all films. I mean, the fact is that even the biggest success that you can successful film that you can think of, the business of that film would have been so much more if there were more screens. Forget the space that it would allow other films also to be able to like showcase what they have. But it's a handicap for everyone. You know, nobody benefits from it. I mean, we don't benefit from it. The industry, though, 100% doesn't. And even in terms of when you talk about the entertainment tax that's collected by governments from these theatre owners and from various things, I mean, all that goes down. So it's actually a win-win situation for everyone. You know, if there are more theatres in places, your revenues of film will increase and your taxation will increase. So everyone benefits.
No, definitely. In fact, Raaes, I think one of the days was 26 crores, and it was capacity, it was running to capacity. There would have been more screens. It would have surely expanded. Gulmarg again recently, the first day, it would have been far more if the screen.
Any film, I mean, the minute you think of a film and you're like, okay, this film can do maximum capacity of 30 whatever crores that it can do. I mean, it's such a limiter in any case. Like, you know that it cannot break through beyond that. Because there is no space for it.
Also, yeah, you're right. I mean, see, it's all of us are completely aware that we are usually under screen compared to the population who go to watch film. I'm not even saying forget the population of the country, but I'm saying the people who would like to watch film, because going to movies has to be convenient if you have to drive. So it's also the location of the screens, which is very important. So every time we hear like a new screen, now PVR has opened some new screen in Kurlala, suddenly you feel the business increasing. No, it's just that it's become more convenient for people who have to travel 45 minutes to the nearest screen, now are traveling 15 minutes. So it's on your pin code. Like, you know, so there are like that, the way the screens are distributed. So one being under screen. The second thing what hampers is films like which have a great word of mouth. So the smaller mid-sized films which come up and people start hearing about it, you know, because it is expensive going to movies, and at the end of the day, if you don't widen it up, it is going to still remain expensive.
Right.
The more footfalls you have, it can encourage the cinemas to bring down their cost. But the thing is that the ticket, I mean, going to the movies is so expensive that by the time a film, if you hear, like these films like Bareli Ki Barfi or Newton, now when you hear such good things, you want to go and watch it. But by the next weekend, because of some other film coming, you just get pushed out onto some kind of show timings and screening showing that which is not convenient for somebody to go and watch. So it's like that also is a huge concern, and that's again happening because you're not well screened. If you had wider screens, then there would be enough space for both films to go on to second week, you know. So that's another.
You don't hear about this anywhere else. No?
Yeah.
You hear about clash happening in Hollywood.
Absolutely not.
And clash hone wala hai Friday ko. They don't have these issues. They've got like so many screens. Both films will release. Both will play out in the audience.
Even South India, I don't think it happens, because they have their dedicated fan clubs, and somehow if two big films are releasing, both of them they can do well.
No, that's also because South has a higher density of screens compared to.
It has.
Yeah,
and
much
even,
more.
Even they have controlled piracy much more than what over here it is. They control the piracy on lesser number of screens. They do far bigger business than.
Bahut problems.
Okay, in terms of taxation, are you guys happy with, because it's not merely the entertainment tax that you guys are paying right now. Even in terms of your day-to-day transactions, I think things have changed a lot, and I'm sure that it is affecting.
You know,
and some of the GST they are paying. They are asked to pay much more than maybe.
Yeah, the GST is actually not a bad thing, because it's a uniform tax across all states. Earlier we had different levels. As long as there is no additional burden from the side of adding a local body tax, which is the only concern. Right now, if they keep GST like it is on any other service, it's not that, I mean, I'm saying every other service has GST, but the local body does not add to that service provided in that city an additional tax. This is the only grey area which is till now we've curtailed it. It is not yet coming, but if that comes in, it's going to hit us even more. As you keep a uniform GST, which is fine. So actually, that's in fact very good. But the minute the GST, you're allowing them to add another local, like Maharashtra will add its own tax, Tamil Nadu will add its own tax, Punjab will add its own. That will hurt you, because that will then amplify the tax much more.
If you mention that in a film like, say, Mersal, for example, then it is said that film guys, they don't have much IQ. In fact, you reacted to that, I think, wonderfully. People should talk about the fact, because it's very easy to just say that ye film Padmavati release nahi hone denge and this and that. It's like just election ke baad release karo and this and that. It's like a bit. I'm sure that you guys, we are like journalists.
See, the fact is that people can stand up and say what they have to say. That fortunately, that liberty all of us have.
Like Kamal Hassan, Prakash, they are saying what it.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, and even the voices against them. You know, you can't say that we are allowed to say what we want to say, but other people are not allowed to say what they want to say.
But GVL Narasimha told you that you are being, आप थोड़ा tolerance रखें आप.
No, whoever has to take whatever from it will take it.
Right.
That's okay.
Right.
But the fact is that you're allowed to say what you want to say. Other people are allowed to say what they want to say. If you have a disagreement with somebody, I think you are absolutely within your right to be vocal about your disagreement.
Right.
The fact is, when the disagreement goes from being a vocal debate to becoming a threat to somebody's livelihood,
correct.
When you go and start breaking theatres, or you go and start destroying property, or doing things like that, or threatening people with dire consequences.
Like Kamal Hassan.
Whoever. So, I mean, without really taking a particular case, because I don't think it's about a particular case. I think whoever the person may be, whether it's for a certain ideology or against a certain ideology, whatever that may be, or for a certain way of thinking or a certain freedom or against that freedom.
Absolutely.
The fact is, everyone is allowed to have a point of view, everyone is allowed to be vocal about their point of view. The thing is that, but the debate and the discourse cannot be allowed to shift outside the realms of civilized conversation.
Absolutely.
As long as it stays there, it's totally fine.
Absolutely.
You know, and there can be larger debates about things, larger debates about entertainment, larger debates about what can be said within political rallies or not. So in that case, if everything can be debated.
Absolutely.
So that is there to be debated, but it should not come to a point of threatening someone.
Right.
Threatening whether it's their livelihood or their life, you know, or their property. That's the issue that is, I think, the larger thing to be wary of.
Right.
So exchanges that happen, whether it's on Twitter or an exchange that happens in the public domain, where someone says something and someone says something adverse to that, I think that's totally fine.
The fact is that you guys have experienced that with Raaes. There were a lot of threats that took place, stone pelting took place as far as Mr. Khan is concerned. In Gujarat, while you guys were shooting, now what has happened with Sanjay Leela Bhansali, and the sort of threats that are being issued to the film, that we won't let the film release, and it's like a very expensive film actually. So do you find that a bit strange, that where does one draw the line? Like the film stars are used for polio vaccination and all sorts of drives. They're expected to pay the highest taxes. They are forced that a film के पहले national anthem होएगा, उसके पहले वो smoking का होना ज़रूरी है, because it's like a, for whatever reason you have to see through that, which is like the idea of no smoking is fine, but you have to see that film. So do you find that a bit strange that it is like just getting onto the entire body?
No, I mean, see, the thing is that firstly, whether it's Raaes or any other film, or Padmavati that's releasing now, it's not the question of because it's an expensive film it should be allowed to release everywhere or not. The fact is, every film is dear to whoever's making.
Absolutely.
So nobody should have a problem, regardless of the cost.
Absolutely.
Secondly, the thing is that when it comes to whether it's these things are like very, very small. The problem is if you start putting the super that would come in the film that tells you smoking is an issue. Correct. Is something that me as a filmmaker and any other filmmaker that will have an issue with.
Right.
Because you're now beginning to like kind of come into my creative space.
Absolutely.
That's where I'm pitching. You want to put something, I'm totally happy to promote non-smoking. Right. There's no issue. I have a problem with the quality of that film. That's 100%. That's a separate issue. That's a separate issue because they can hopefully make better non-smoking.
People know the dialogue, like what Rahul Dravid is going to say now. Seriously.
Basically. So those are not issues, and the fact is that, see, at the end of the day, people understand, and people, I would imagine, even in power, understand that that film as a medium is an exceedingly powerful medium.
Bilkul.
And the fact is that the people within film have a certain kind of a love from the general public. People like going to movies, people like listening to what they say. There is that. So if you want to use that for good, by all means you should. And people in the film industry should step forward and do it.
Bilkul.
I don't think any single person will complain about having to do a non-smoking public advisory spot or talk about anything like whether it's an anti-polio drive or it's gender issues. Nobody will have an issue.
Right.
They will gladly do it. But within that, like you're saying, that should also be, so that I don't think there is comparing one with the other. That because they do this, then they should be allowed.
Right.
I don't think that matters. I think that's a separate issue. And when it comes to freedoms that you need to have within your creative space, most importantly, you should be allowed to have. I mean, I think that much credit you need to give filmmakers especially whose work you like kind of watched over the years, you know, have understood that they are serious people. They're not here just to make a quick buck and go off.
Absolutely.
You know, that's very unfair and a little bit unfortunate that it happens. And we as film people can go to the certification board, you know, and get them to watch our film and let us know what they feel about it or what to rate it. And rate
Absolutely.
it. You know, and if you feel that it's going to be a problem for you and your family to watch, please don't go and watch it.
Absolutely. After this intense conversation, any final thoughts on Fukrey Returns? What is it that people can just look forward to differently from this time around?
The story moves forward, so there's a lot more to look forward to. It's the fun, the humor, the plots, the twists and turns. So I'm sure people will not miss the first part, and they'll enjoy this one as much as they did the last. So yeah,
Great.
I think that was the question.
Yes. What's the release that you're looking at in terms of screens?
I think that Anil is going to decide. He's going to come closer. Let the trailer release. Right. I think let's see what it is. We know we are coming just a week before Tiger, and we are coming a few weeks, 3 weeks after.
2 weeks after
Padmavat, or third weekend. So I think, but we are consciously, we know where we are placing. I think that's what it is, but I don't know. The number of screens will decide once. Let's see how the film, how people appreciate the trailer, the music. Now the whole campaign will start from the 15th of this month, and we know. But it will be. I know it's not going to be like a 2,500 screen release or anything like that.
Okay, all right. Farhan Akhtar, as a writer and director yourself, how do you just objectively evaluate this film? Have you seen the final film?
We've seen the final cut of the film. I mean, it's an entertaining film.
Right.
You know, it's what would be categorized in the truest and like a screwball comedy.
Yeah.
You know, is what it is, where characters who really are thoroughly enjoyable, and especially one of them who can do anything at any given point in time, really kind of like dictates what's going to be like following next, and everybody else is kind of playing catch up and trying to make some sense out of everything that's going on. So it's thoroughly enjoyable. It's very witty. The dialogues are very funny. The situations are very funny. And that's what this film has promised to deliver. That's what it delivered with the first one. I think that's what people are going to expect, and I think they're going to have a great laugh.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for being on Bollywood Hungama, and all the best wishes. We hope that it does exceedingly well and people have a good time. Thank you very much. That's all we have from Bollywood Hungama. Keep on watching.
Hi, this is Farhan.
Hi, this is Ritesh Sidhwani, and you're watching Bollywood Hungama.
Enjoy.